Hey, this is Gene. I just want to do a really quick video here, maybe. Knowing me, maybe it won't be a long video or too much. Um, I'm just getting a little bit sick and tired of our young fans, especially the ones that are on the biggest YouTube channel that is for Manchester United, continually saying that we need to get players that are not English, or even not even people from Northern Europe, let's say. It's I just want a very simple question asked these people. Do you actually believe that Africans are better footballers than English players that are the same level of experience? It's the same fucking day every day saying I want this player, and they're almost uniquely African. Now, of course, by saying that, people are going to say I'm racist. No, I'm thinking about the heritage of the football team. When we go back to 1992 or 1999 and look at how many people started on that team, half of that team, including the starters and the reserves of the first team, were English. Half of them. We don't have that anymore. And I think that's a very important thing that Manchester United should have. They are the biggest club, them and Liverpool, when it comes to First Division. They're both going to have the same amount of wins, I guess. Uh, but overall, Manchester United is the biggest club in England. And I think that we should have English players. And there's a reason why years ago that they did that. They made sure that enough players, either English or British or UK based or whatever, that whole thing, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, Northern Ireland, English, they made sure that those players had at least four of them on the team every time. And yeah, it may be the Premiership is the best league in the world because we have a lot of this foreign influence on that. But it's like every time that I go on this person's Twitter, they're talking about let's get this person because this will be best for Amarin, and and a lot of people are saying that Delap should not be bought because I want to know why. He is a very good player, and if you have the good players around him, and this is exactly what Rasmus needs, but right now Delap is better than him. He's the more finished article. He's stronger than him. He has proven it. He's proven it in the Premiership. Last year there were signs for Rasmus, but he's come back a little bit and he has no confidence. And doesn't mean he can't be a great player. And I would love him and the lap to be together. But we want guys that play in Turkey because they can't start for the team that actually bought them. Why? They're playing in a league that we would not. Everybody that leaves and goes to those areas we didn't like. We got rid of Fred and he went to Turkey. Mata eventually went to Turkey. These are players that are not supposed to be good enough in the Premiership, but we want to get a striker from those leagues to come here and think that now all of a sudden we're going to be a really good player, or a really good team because of that player. And I don't give a shit about what the color of the skin is, but again, these are African players, and I'm like, they still have not a World Cup. No African team has got to the finals. This idea because people they actually believe this shit that they are more athletic than other races. It's different for certain things and certain types of sports that they might have, let's say, a advantage in. But are you going to tell me that the best midfielder in the world the last 4 or 5 years or 10 years, it wasn't a black dude. It was a guy that had a lot of pasty white skin. It's probably the best defender, other than maybe Van Dyke has been somebody that's not from Africa. It's like I've seen this in the United States how they actually recruit our football over here. Generally speaking, black people mature just a little bit earlier than black white people do. Again, this is generally right, and this is all provable and everything like this. So they're seen earlier on. They do more stuff, but over the time, they generally uh, even out. Now, obviously, at the highest level, the very highest level, at like sprinting and stuff, that is dominated by them. Um, However, a lot of people that look like me, they get discouraged and they don't continually play. Even in the United States, we're 60% white, 13% black. Uh, we could dominate all these places, all these different sports if we wanted to. I played it when I grew up. There wasn't that big of a difference. They may early on they might have been, but usually it it evens out over the years. And the fact is that white players don't play the sport as much as they do, and that's something maybe we can change. But this is all. This whole thing is just another thing that I was thinking about because recently a political person here in this country, he goes on the university's campuses, and he made a statement that black players are better at sports than white players are. And this was somebody that got would have got you fired if you said it. I mean, Jimmy the Greek said this, and he lost his job by saying that they, the black slave and the owners, and make sure that they get together and the actual baby that came from that would be something that could actually help on the farm, and they were strong and all that shit. And he got and they talked about the different muscles and the twist or the type of I can't say the impacting, the quick fiber type of thing that in general that they have. Um, and he got fired for it. But Charlie said that today. It's like, well, there's a reason why that the NBA is all black. Or I'm like, okay, but he makes an idea that the people in America, the white people in America, aren't as good as around the world. If you take the best white players and you played them against the best black players in the NBA, it's not like the NBA players would end up winning every game that they play. They almost lost in the last Olympics against a team that was predominantly white. It's just a stupid argument. Now, maybe again at the top level, when you look at out of 10 people, maybe 7 people might have more athletic ability, 7 to 3 when it comes to stuff like that. That's possible. It is because the type of sport and how it's played right now favors that type of athletic ability, let's say. But my issue is with Manchester United shouldn't be like that. And I'm not saying we shouldn't. I want us to be competitive, right? And if it was a clearly evident type of thing that black players are clearly the best players when it comes to playing soccer or football in the world, then of course we want to look at that stuff because we're a competitive type of thing and we want to win. But you look in Spain and you look at other places, there are a lot of, they not be white per se, but certainly Spanish people that have won the World Cup, that have won the European Cup. I don't think they consider themselves black. I mean, do a lot of Brazilians look at themselves as black? Now, there are some part of that there. It's a very multicultural type of situation there. But it's just like, why is and I actually responded to her on Twitter. And I said, why is our young fans always looking to stuff like that? I'd rather us to look like the town that we live in. Now, of course, in England, that's changing, of course. And it's not a good thing. But still, 85% of the country happens to be native white people. And this whole thing we said from the other people is that I want people to look like me. I want people to look like me. And again, people say, Gene, you're being racist. No, I'm not. I mean, a team that's been in Manchester probably should somewhat resemble the team that the local people that are there. And that's how you have that continual love affair with the team in the town. We had the same thing with baseball in this country. It was our national pastime as well, and we had the same shit. We had people from Cuba and stuff came in this country and diluted the team, and still, a lot of people say that we don't have enough black players in the NBA or in MLB, and it's like, okay, but I thought they were the greatest athletes of all time, but they can't hit a ball. Now, obviously, there are good players that were black, of course, like Barry Bonds, although he took certain things. But it's like it's being dominated by a lot of the Caribbean teams and stuff like that. And obviously, Japan is very good at this. They know how to play the game. It's just when somebody that are a political and they're a high level when it comes to political say shit like that, and I go on TikTok when he said that, and everybody's coming back to that's not what he meant, and you're being racist, and no, that's not true. I played the game. This is the same thing that Mark always says. I played the game. I played the game when it came to basketball. I played very, very good players, including Michael Jordan. And obviously, I consider him to be one of the top three players in the history of the entire world. But I'm sorry. You don't have to jump 500 feet to play basketball. You don't have to jump 500 feet to play football or soccer. Okay, there's a way if you use your brain and stuff like that. I mean, players that like Erickson that could just play. Obviously, as he gets older, he can't really defend as much. Bruno's the same way. He's not fast. He's not black. I mean, I don't understand why we continually go and say we have to get somebody from there because they look good on the papers. They run 4.5 or they're really quick, and that's really decides how we win. Well, De Bruyne is not the fastest guy in the world. Obviously, Scholes was not the fastest guy in the world. And yeah, the game's changed a little bit. To me, it's changed poorly. It's totally different. It's a totally different type of game now. I don't know what to say about this, and it's always the same. Well, I like the lap, but I'd rather want to have Osman. I'm like, why? He plays in a very low league. He can score. I mean, get Gokaraz, but I guess we can't afford that. That's fine, and maybe she'd want that. But I mean, for years, that channel has wanted Osman for our team, and I've never really understood why. He's a decent player, but he has never played at the highest level. And I'm like, do you see what happened? I mean, people get on Erasmus shit all the time, but he went from where he was in Atlanta and not really playing every game. And he came here and he spoke right away. He has to start because we're stupid enough. We didn't have a veteran person in front of him. I mean, we did have a couple people, but things happen. But then they put so much pressure on this kid, and clearly there's some talent there. And I think he needs to be trained a little bit better, and I think that's the coach's issue. But I mean, personally, and I hope to God this happens to him. I hope that he scores a really important goal in the Europa League, and either win in the final or in the semifinals, and something that actually wins it for us. Because I feel bad for the dude, and people want him to go out on loan or get rid of him. And I'm like, okay. All I know is the guy tries. Same thing as McTominay. These guys always cry. Same as Fred. I didn't never want him to leave either. We're never going to be well, I can't say that per se, but the team we have in 2008, how deep that we were in the striking area, we're just from. I could tell you that the team that won 2008, that would play this Liverpool team, it would be. I don't think that Liverpool would ever win. I think that they get a couple draws out of 10 games. The team who wins the Champions League, and it might be Arsenal. I don't think they're that good this year. They're probably the best team in Europe right now, And the fact is, they don't have a striker either. But everything else they're really good with. But I still don't think any of those teams could dominate teams from the Chelseas in the 2000s, Arsenal's when they were good late in the 2000s or 1990s. Manchester United, these teams will just absolutely destroy these teams now. Of course, now the difference is that you might have a little bit of a difference when it comes to refereeing these games. But everybody talks about in sports that there's always an evolution. And when you continually go on in the future, it's going to be better because the players are better and they're faster and all this shit. I think that's all bullshit. I absolutely do. I'm not saying, obviously, that 1968 European champions probably would beat our team from 1999, okay? Just saying that because that team was out partying and smoking and all the other shit and played a different level. But you never know. I mean, there were the great players too. And I know it sounds racist, and I know it. I get it. I do. Nobody's going to watch this, probably not, unless I put United stands and maybe 500 people will see it. But I'm just I'm kind of like over it at this point. Why are you always promoting foreigners to play for Manchester United? The first thing we should do is look at our youth team. If we go and buy players when they're 15 or 14 and they happen to be foreign, but they actually go to the first or the youth team and they go through all that, that's the first line that we should say that's what we want first to play in the first team, if they're good enough, right? The next thing is that we look for somebody that's an English, Scottish, Irish, Welsh, Norwegian, whatever. That it should be the next thing. Then after that, if we're gonna go on the continent itself, that would be the next thing. And then maybe you go to other places. Maybe somebody in America team. If there's a really good American player, you bring them on. Or if you want some players from the Ivory Coast or something, you bring them in. But don't continually change the entire demographics of the team because on paper, because they're fast, that there must be better. It doesn't win. It doesn't really win. Yeah, Saka's a good player, okay, but who's the best player on that team? It isn't him. It's Declan Rice, and he's an English player. Remember all the time when they paid him $100 million for that dude? He clearly is worth it. Now they haven't won anything per se, but they could today. They could win the Champions League. It's just the narrative is like we just can't have English players because obviously there's a premium there as well. But I would all over be Delap. Bring him in and if you're going to keep Rasmus, that's great. Those two can play off to each other. And they could probably learn from each other. They're the same age, kind of. And I think that'd be a great move for him. He's proven he's been in the Premiership. He can obviously make that next step. If we get better players to give him the ball in right positions, and they can run off each other and learn from each other, I think we'll be fine. But again, we're not ever going to be the 2008 team again. You will never have like Tevez and Berbatov and Rooney and Ronaldo. You're never going to have shit like that because you're talking about these guys were all worth over 100 million now or more. So we'll never have that again because how FFP and all that stuff. It's just never going to be the same. And again, whatever. That's all I had to say. Like I said, you can put whatever you want to put in the comments. You can write this or you can dislike it. I don't really care. This is just an old man's opinion about it. And I've said it many times in this team on this channel that we should always look at that first. Look at your team. If you can't use that, you look for English players, Scottish players. You have to have something that ties back to the heritage of this club. If you don't do that, eventually, and I think that's going to happen anyway. We're going to be in a 100,000 seat stadium, and they got to somehow pay for that. And yeah, it's a global game, and I get all that shit, but it's not what it should be. It's like when you go to the Champions League and you got a team from England, they should somewhat resemble the native population of that team. It's like when Chelsea would go in the Champions League or something like that. And you're like, or Arsenal sometimes. They don't look like anybody from England. That's just me saying that. And I know it's a pipe read. I do. But I just want to get it out there and say what I had to say. So let me know what you think in the comments. You guys have a good day, and I'm really getting used to we play on Sunday against Bournemouth. I think because it's on the road, I think we'll probably get something out of that game, regardless of who we play. I thought we played okay against Wolves. They didn't do anything the entire game. They got a free kick, and Eriksson was. And when I talk about him being kind of a high IQ type player, was stupid with the foul he gave up, and that's the only real shot they had on goal the entire game. We had 3 really good chances, and we just didn't do anything with them, and it's unfortunate. Everybody that should have been able to shot or missed it had outside 6-7 yards, just didn't do it, and it's unfortunate. But anyway, all it is sports. These are just my thoughts as an old man sitting there having a beer when it's been raining all day here in Alabama. But don't hold that against me. That I'm in Alabama. This is not my home. Oh, well, I live here now, but uh, I just, I just want, and it's one of those things that it just, we're like the FIFA type of shit. Let me put this guy in there, put this guy in there. I don't give a shit where they're from and where they how they tie back to the club or Manchester at all. I don't like it. So anyway, you guys have a good day, and we'll talk to you later.